Good morning, children. Now, let us begin the second chapter, plant structure and function. Now, the first question is, what helps us to easily identify the plants around us? Now, mostly we see the characteristics, use the characteristics of the plants to recognize the plants around us. For example, we see the leaves, we see the fruits or the flowers in order to identify the plant. Now, what are the various parts of the plant? Now, the various parts of the plant are root, stem, leaves, flowers, and fruits. So, thus we see that the root, stem, leaves, flowers, fruits, etc. of different plants are different. And seeing the different fruits, flowers, and leaves, we can identify the plant. Now, let us now see acquaint ourselves with these plant organs in greater detail. So for example, here what you now some activities there. Take a moistened ball of crumpled paper in a conical flask and place some moth beans or gram seeds in the flask between the paper and the glass wall and observe the changes in the following seeds in 2 or 3 days. This activity you can do at home also. So now here like this here see this way we have taken this gram seeds or the lentil, any lentil seed also you can take and keep it in a moistured uh, tissue paper, and after 2-3 days you will see that this part of the seed which grows from this seed, that is called as the plumule, and the other part which is growing in the downward direction from the seed, that is called as the radicle. So thus we see that the part that grows from inside the seed towards the soil is called as the radicle, and the part that grows above the soil is called as the plumule. Now the root that forms from the radicle grows into the ground, and the root is thicker near the ground and it gradually tapers to the pointed end. So this part of the plant which grows below the soil for the support is called as the root. Now all of you must have seen the root of the plant. Any small plant you take and take out from the soil and observe it carefully. You can see the roots of that plant which is growing under the soil. Now roots of some plants, they produce secondary roots that grow obliquely and spread far and wide in the soil. Now the roots, they support the plant. This type of root is called as the taproot. Now this one fenugreek or the methi your parents must be getting at home. So you observe the root of that fenugreek or the methi or of this coriander also, dhania. So there you will see the roots of this dhania or fenugreek or the methi, it is a taproot. Now the roots bear hair-like processes near the root tips. So these are the root hairs. Now the root tip is delicate. This is the region of the growth of the root. The tip is covered by a cap-like structure called as the root cap. Now this root cap, function of the root cap is to protect the root tip from the injuries, because if the root tip is injured, then the root will not grow further and the plant will also die or it will not grow. Now take a glass jar and 3/4 of it with water. Place an onion on the mouth of the jar here like this. Here take one beaker, fill it with or beaker you can take, or this you can take a jar such that the onion just fits into that jar, into the opening of that jar, and fill it with water, and then keep the onion over that jar. So we observe that after a few days the roots, they grow towards the roots of the onion grow towards the water, and the level of the water also decreases, and slowly we can see the leaves coming out of the onion plant. So now you must have understood clearly by looking at this onion that the roots, they get immersed into the water, and this bulging part of the onion which we call, that is actually the stem, and then here the leaves come out of the onion, that so those leaves also we eat, that are called as the spring onions. So that also is used for making certain recipes. So these thread like or the fibrous roots arising from the stem, they are called as the fibrous root. So So these fibrous roots, you can see they are very small, and they are not very long, they are short. So thus there are two main types of roots, tap roots and the fibrous root. Now the dicotyledonous plants, they have the tap roots, and the monocotyledonous plants have fibrous. Now you know what do you mean by the dicotyledonous seeds. Dicotyledonous seeds means they have got two cotyledons, groundnut, gram seeds. Then all lentils, they are dicotyledonous, whereas monocotyledonous seeds means maize and jawar, then rice, they have got a single cotyledon. So they are all the monocotyledonous seeds. Mono means what? One. Now sow the seeds of plants like mustard, jawar, maize, pea, coriander, etc. in an earthen pot and cultivate the plant for 8 days. Once the plants grow 15 to 20 centimeters high, uproot them, and then you observe carefully uh, while the soil is moist, and put them gently in the conical flask containing water. The soil will get washed off without any harm to the roots, and observe the roots carefully to see which plants have tap roots and which have this one, the fibrous root. So we see that the plants like maize, sugarcane, sorghum means jawar, has two types of roots. Some of the roots, they are underground, whereas some grows from the stem just above the soil. So those roots which grow just above the soil, they are called as the adventitious roots. So now see here, this is the maize stalk, or even the sugarcane plant also. If you see, you will see that here these roots here, you can see they are just above the ground. So they are called as the adventitious roots. Now the functions of this now besides the normal functions like absorption of water and minerals, anchoring and supporting the plant, roots perform some other functions too. Now root shows some modification to perform these additional functions. Now some examples of some such modified roots are this one. Modified roots are aerial roots, stilt roots, runners, breathing roots, that is nematophores, etc. So here in this one, see now this is a money plant. If you take money plant, most of you have it in your house. So you can see that in the money plant also some roots are there. So the function of that root is to anchor to the support. So that those roots, they grow into the support on which that money plant grows. Now take some water in a small glass jar. Put a plantlet in such a way that its roots are dipped into the water. Mark the water level in the jar and add 5 milliliters of oil in the water, and record the water level on the next day and in your observation. So here what we see now, this one here, this example is given here. See, take a glass jar and then fill it with the water and put a level of the water, some few drops of oil you put. Now oil is lighter than water, so it will just float on water. Now why this oil is put on the water? So that the water does not evaporate by evaporation. Okay, now still here after few days we see that the level of the water has gone down. Now the loss of water from the jar, it is not by evaporation. Then why the loss of water is there? This is because the plant's roots, it absorbs water from the jar and it is supplied to the different parts of the plant. So there is the level of the water level has come down. Now next these questions are there. What would have happened if the plants like tamarind, banyan and mango had fibrous root? Now you know this tamarind, banyan and mango trees, they are very big. So they need strong roots in order to support or in order to keep it deep rooted into the soil. So now if they have the fibrous roots, then fibrous roots, we know they do not grow deep into the soil. So these trees, they would not have supported the plants as they don't grow deep in the soil. Now what will happen if the root tip is injured? Now if the root tip is injured, the roots won't grow from it. Clear, because the root tip is the one from where the growth of the root takes place. Now, which types of roots do the fenugreek, spinach and onion plant have? Fenugreek means methi, spinach means palak. Now, spinach and the palak, if you observe, they have got the taproot, and the onions have got the fibrous root. Now, next we will see here this one. Do you know this here? Now, the roots emerging from the trunks and the branch of the banyan tree grow towards the soil. Now, banyan tree you must have seen here. So, they are called as the prop roots. Now, banyan trees, their hangers you can see, hanging roots you can see, they are called as the prop roots. What would be the use of these prop roots? In the beginning, banyan tree has a very few prop roots. As they later go on, their number increases so much that it appears like a small forest. So now what is the function of these prop roots? From the prop roots, again this one, they grow into the soil, and then from that the new plant grows out. So in Kolkata, a 250 years old banyan tree is there in the Indian Botanical Garden. It covers a very large area. It is supported by the thousands of prop roots, and here see. So this support is given to the plant. So you can see actually this is a single, this one roots from the prop roots from the single plant. So as the time passes on, it looks like a forest. Now, why are the underground parts of the plant like radish, carrot, beet and sweet potato thick, fleshy and swollen? Which part of the plant are they? Now, the radish means what? Mooli, carrot, gajar, and beet is beetroot, you know. Sweet potato, all of you must have seen. So, they are fleshy and swollen because the plants prepared, because the food prepared by the plants, they are stored in it, so they are swollen. Now, this radish, carrot, beet and sweet potato, they are the stem of the plants. Got it? So, the food prepared by these plants, they are stored into the stem of these plants, and that's why they look swollen. Now, next we will see this one, the stem of the plant. Now, stem grows above the soil from the plumule of the sprouting seed. Now, this stem here, this one, as the sprout grows, the length of the stem gradually increases too. So, there are nodes on the stem. Leaves come out at the nodes, and the part of here, this one. See, you can see. So, from the plumule here, the stem grows. Then on alternate sides, we see the nodes are there, and from the nodes, the leaf grows. Now, this is the growing end of the stem, and then the distance between two nodes is called as the internode. And then here this is the leaf. So what we observe, the tip or the apical end of the stem is called as the bud. Now observe the branch of any plant and identify different parts as per the diagram. Now this chart, it is not this one important here. Thickness of just the node and then the length of the internode in millimeters you have to find out. Now next part, so now till now so far we have seen the two parts of the plant, root and the stem. Now let us see the next part of the plant, leaf. Now the leaves grow from the nodes on the stem. Leaves are generally thin and flat and green in color. So this here you can see, this is this in detail, the part of the plant. So this broad spread out part of the plant is called as the leaf blade or lamina, and this edge is called as the leaf apex. This is the leaf apex. Then the outer boundary of the lamina is called as the leaf margin. Then here these lines or the structures, they are on the leaf, they are called as the veins, and then the central part of the leaf, it is called as the midvein. And then here this end of the leaf, this is called as the petiole. And then from the leaf base, small structures, green structures which come out, this is called as the leaf base. So I hope this part of the here entire structure or the part of the leaf all of you understood. Now here these are the different structures of the plant. So here part of the leaf. So now here this is the entire, this type of leaf is called as dentate. this type of leaf is called as the lobed. So you can just take round around your house, and then you can see the different parts of the plant. Now the tip of the leaf here. Now leaves of some plants have single undivided leaf blade and the single midrib. So such leaves are called as the simple leaves. However, the leaf blade of the leaves in some plants is divided into many small parts called as the leaflets. So such leaves are called as the compound leaves. And some leaves and compound leaf, simple leaf and compound leaf, these are the two main types of the leaves. So now let us observe the branch of the plants like rose, neem, coriander, hibiscus, etc. Now in different plants, the arrangement of the leaves on a stem is different. It may be alternate, opposite, whorled, spiral, etc. So now here you can see in alternate leaves means alternately the leaves are present. So on the right side one leaf will there, little up bit up you go, the left side the leaf will be there. Again you go, then one more leaf on the right side, then on the left side. So such type of leaf leaves arrangement is called as the alternate. Now in desiccate here you can see such is the structure of the leaves. So in desiccate structure what we observe that decussate structure here, two leaves there on the either side. So alternately here like this the leaves arrangement of the leaves will be there. Then in opposite the leaves are arranged on on the opposite sides of the stem. Now in the whole here like here see like a this one flower it looks. So this way on one side here the leaves they are present. So now beside this in here if you see any other specific leaf arrangement you can add to. So these are the different types of the leaf. Is that clear to all of you?